Hey friends, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again tonight. Before we start, if you like this type of content, liking and subscribing really help keep this going. Also, drop in the comments what other game or series you'd like to listen to in the future. I tend to listen to these myself quite often. Tonight, we descend into the spiral, the living core beneath the wells, what it is, how to enter it without losing your sense of self, and why the right kind of patience beats any torch swung in anger. Think of the spiral as the place where categories blur on purpose. Up on the ridges, stone is stone, air is air, water is water. Down here, stone remembers being clay, air feels like a liquid you can push against, and water moves as if listening for a cue. The descent starts in the old wells, the ones with the warning rings carved into their lips. You don't climb straight down a shaft. You follow a ramp that coils around a central void, wide enough for two careful people to walk shoulder to shoulder and narrow enough that you'll prefer one behind the other. Every quarter turn has a landing where you can stop and listen. The first rule is simple and saves more lives than any weapon. If your breath is the loudest sound, you keep going. If the space hums smoother than your breath, you wait for wind from above, or you leave. The materials will tell you how far you've come. At the top, your boots knock a normal note from stone. A few turns down, your soles find a dampness that isn't puddle wet but palm wet. A film that makes every surface feel recently handled. The walls show faint rings like a tree trunk turned inside out. Touch them, and you'll feel a slow pulse, not synchronized with your heart. Further down, the ramp edge loses crispness. Corners round, grains in the rock, twist along a spiral you didn't carve. If you've ever walked a parking garage at night and felt the concrete lean you toward the curve, the ramp gives that same suggestion. Remember what the suggestion is, not a command, not a threat, just an invitation to stop noticing edges. Your answer to every invitation down here is politeness with a limit. Caravans mark safe descents with 3 simple checks. First, temperature drift. A small strip of metal on your wrist warms a touch when the spiral is close and moves slowly. It chills abruptly when the shroud is surging. Second, sound check. 2 coins tapped together at each landing should return as 2 clean clicks. If they return as a smear, or if the second click feels swallowed, you pause and free the air by opening any louvered panels you pass. Third, surface tension. Carry a shallow cup, dip a fingertip and pull it free. If the drop stretches into a thread beyond a natural length, the air is too sticky. Walk back 4 turns and try again after a count of 100. What does the spiral want? The answer that keeps mine steady is blunt. It wants more of itself. That doesn't mean it hates you. It means you are raw material if you're not careful. You feel that most strongly where the spiral narrows. The ramp tightens to a shoulder width. The central void below goes from black to a pale, cold glow, not bright enough to see by, just bright enough to trick your eyes into saying they can. Your job at that light is to refuse the trick. Lanterns stay on. Ropes stay tethered to pitons, hammered into points the fog hasn't softened. One person keeps the ledger and calls out the count every 50 steps. Your mind relaxes when someone is counting for you. The spiral counts too. You answer with your own arithmetic. Halfway down, you pass the first galleries. They open like side chapels, arched and ribbed. At the threshold, you'll see the oldest tool the ancients left behind. Tuning racks, forks taller than a person, set at intervals like ribs along a chest. Some are cracked. Some still ring if you wrap them softly with bone or wood. You never strike them with metal. Metal wakes harmonics the fog can ride. Strike, listen, match your breath to the healthy ones. Healthy in this place means textured, not smooth. A ring that wavers slightly insists on being heard as a sound in air, not as a thought in your head. If a fork hums without being touched, you close that gallery. Mark it with chalk. Write clear words. Do not get curious. Curiosity here can be a soft word for drift. Further in, elixir veins appear, not as rivers, but as seams. In good days, the ancients cut valves into these seams, managing pressure with a combination of flame tone and geometry. Those valves remain like ancient brass hinges set in a door no one opens anymore. Do not touch them unless a flamekeeper is with you and the ledger instructs a turn. Even then, a quarter turn only, then a wait, then another quarter, because the spiral likes sudden moves and teaches bad lessons quickly to the people who make them. You will see movement in places that should not move. The walls ripple slowly as if a sleep breath traveled through rock. The floor dimples and releases where a load passes. These are not tricks. They are the organism, the earth, acting like a body where elixir and shroud intersect. The easiest mistake is to treat the spiral like a singular mind that can be reasoned with. It feels personal when it tightens the air in your chest. It isn't personal, it's pressure and appetite. Reasoning with appetite works the way reasoning with a strong current works. You angle, you pace yourself, you don't announce to the river who you are. Every safe descent has a midpoint where you do nothing but breathe and listen for a full minute. That minute resets 5 senses that lie to you down here. Sight lies first, insisting that the pale glow is enough. Hearing lies second, presenting a steady hum as if it were safety. Touch lies third, mistaking the spiral's skin-like surfaces for softness. Smell lies fourth, because the air carries a sweet note that reads as clean when it is merely uniform. Taste lies last, fooling you into thinking the water kept in vessels at the galleries is refreshing when you are really swallowing quiet. The antidote to those lies is not bravery, it is procedure. Lantern up, count, tap, breathe, audible. Repeat to the point of boredom. Boredom is a shield. The spiral is a poor teacher for bored students. There are creatures down here, but they aren't the point. Fells stalk the edges where fog and elixir do their fastest work. They react to rhythm more than to sight or smell. Break a pattern and you step around most conflicts. A 3-step and tap walk makes them wait. A steady hammering invites them. Hollow linger too, drawn to the warmth people carry. They cluster at the mouths of galleries and watch because watching costs them nothing. Untangle their attention with movement that crosses drafts. The wind that finds even the deepest holes is honest in a way the spiral can't counterfeit. When in doubt, move toward the truest draft. At the deepest platform most descents will attempt, the ramp ends in an apron that leans toward a central shaft. Look down and you'll see the slowest motion you've ever had to accept as motion. It looks like a field of strands, moving in one direction, then the other, each strand tight and separate, then merged. The urge to toss a stone to gauge distance will rise. Resist it. The spiral likes introduced objects. Tools are for tasks, not for satisfying nerves. Instead, you perform the reason you came. Set tone where tone is thin, break tone where tone is too smooth, and leave proof you are here for the next crew to read. Setting tone is quiet work. You seat the handstone into a socket in the apron, match your breath to the ledger's count, and press until you feel that press answered through your palm. That answer is not heat, it's agreement. The agreement travels into the floor like a message moving across a crowded room. 100 small things admit they were waiting to be told to be themselves again. You cannot watch the spiral heal. You can only leave a place ready to heal and come back later to check. Breaking too smooth tone is noisier. You use keys to detune a panel the ancients installed, making it refuse the easy hum and accept the textured note that belongs to rooms with people in them. Too smooth hums feel impressive. Textured tones feel like work. Choose work. No one descends without a ledger, and the ledger's words are plain because plain words are the only words that hold in thin air. Argument has its place on ridges and in councils. Down here, the ledger wins. There are a few lines that make people roll their eyes until those lines save them. No stepping on the inner lip of the ramp because the inner lip shows damage last and fails first. No sitting in the galleries between tasks because the spiral welcomes stillness more than it welcomes motion. No humming while you walk unless you are the count caller because the spiral would like to set your pitch for you. These read like scolding until the day you break one, and then they read like miracles you could have had. What about the center, the place folk songs insist, holds an egg or a heart or a throat, you will not reach it. If someone tells you they did, they are talking about a dream. What matters isn't whether there is an absolute center. What matters is that there are enough near centers, enough thick knots of moving thread to require the same behavior from you at depth after depth. Set the right tone, refuse the wrong one, leave the place better than you found it, and get out before the spiral convinces you you're part of its plan. Knowing you cannot finish the spiral is strangely freeing. You aren't here to end it. You're here to keep the surface honest and the wells from rewriting the map all at once. There are stories of people who decide to camp at the deepest apron, claiming that constant attention will keep the spiral quiet. The ledgers record those attempts without drama. Food spoils at the wrong rate. Sleep becomes a negotiation, where dreams feel like meetings. Work quality drops, because work built on stubbornness frays faster than work built on rhythm. The teams that last are the teams that leave. They return on schedule, and schedule beats stubbornness every time. On your way back up, you will pass handprints in soot on gallery walls, thumb-length marks placed years apart, each a person saying, "I was here, and I left still myself." Those marks aren't talismans, they are a census. They tell you people like you succeeded with this routine, and that routine can hold one more night. If you feel fear, look for those marks instead of for omens. The spiral is rich in omens. It is poor in evidence of people. Choose evidence. When spiral work touches the surface, you see it in small ways that add up to safety. Springs that ran too sweet return to tasting like stone and rain. Rooms that felt padded regain their corners. Doors that had gone quiet learn to speak just enough. And hinges hold oil like a memory instead of like a supplement. Children sleep at night and wake with hunger instead of waking with the tune in their mouths. Markets rediscover argument. The good kind where a price is haggled with laughter and a decision lands because a bell rings and the day moves forward. The spiral doesn't vanish. It stops trying to be the author of the neighborhood. There's a practical kit for spiral crews that's worth listing because lists are easy to hold in a tired mind. Handstone, ledger, chalk, bell on a short cord, shallow cup, 2 coins for clicks, a small fan for testing air movement, rope with woven markers every 10 paces, oil for hinges you'll meet on the way back through, lanterns that burn at human brightness rather than the white glare that makes shadows lie. A small kettle too, because the sound of water, at a simmer, is an anchor the spiral rarely bothers to counterfeit well. That kettle earns its weight. What about accidents? The big ones. A collapse is rare because the spiral dislikes endings. When rock does fall, it falls like wet paper, sagging more than shattering, and reshapes into the same curve somewhere lower. People are injured by wrong decisions more often than by rock. The wrong decisions are always the same: speed, pride, novelty. Speed makes you skip the landing checks. Pride makes you ignore a colleague's say-so. Novelty makes you try something because you haven't seen it before. The right decisions are boring. Pause, ask, repeat. If boredom is setting in, you're doing it right. Every so often, someone brings music down here, hoping to fight tone with tone. The ledgers record what works. A single note on a small pipe, blown once on each landing, can clear a gallery that wants to hold breath. A chord from a hand organ fails more often than it helps because the spiral likes big gifts and will take what you offer as an excuse to answer. Drums are poor here unless they are the size of a plate and struck to mark count. Songs with words are better saved for the surface, where words are supposed to be king. Down here, let words be tools and keep the poetry in your pocket until the wind can carry it. At the exit, the first cold, honest draft makes your eyes water, and that is a good sign. People will ask what it was like, and the temptation will be to turn it into a monster, because monsters are easier to report. Resist that, and you'll teach better. Say it was work in a place that wants what it wants without malice, and that people have the advantage because they can want something on purpose that lasts longer than appetite. Say the spiral is a slow eater and a slower listener, and that the only way to be heard in it is to return on the schedule you set. Say you were careful. Say you were bored. Say you left the place more itself than when you arrived. If you're drifting to sleep now, carry one rule you can apply anywhere, not just at depth. When a room feels too smooth to require you, introduce a small, honest texture. Open a window a hand's width, let a hinge speak a little. Put water to a low boil. Count out loud when you do a task that matters. The spiral is the part of the world that thrives when people stop participating. The antidote is participation, repeated calmly. That's the core secret beneath all the fog and glow, that the living mass below will always prefer to smooth, and that the living mass above, which is us, can choose to keep edges. Next time, we'll return topside and follow the creatures shaped by this depth, hollow, fell, and the things that walk like memory after midnight, where they come from, what they want, and how to guide them without turning every road into a battlefield. For tonight, count the steps to your door, feel the hinge tell the truth when it closes, and let the quiet be the kind that rests, not the kind that erases.